Good day, everybody. Welcome to our Motivation Tuesday. And today we are going to be looking at a very critical topic. Like when I mean very critical, this topic is a very critical topic. And what is the title of this topic? Begin with the end in mind. What do I mean by begin with the end in mind? For every action, for every step we take, for every decision we make, we should always know that there is always an end. There is always consequences to all our action. So, this is a new year. So before we make any decision, before we talk anyhow to people, before we make maybe a decision, a drastic decision, we should always know what will happen at the end. Are we going to regret it at the end? Or are we going to, or will the decision give us joy at the end? We should learn how to create a mental picture of our decision. For example, if you want to build a house, before you build a house, you must have the mental picture of the house in your mind. Like you must first think, okay, I want this house to be a duplex, I want it to have 5 beds, I want the toilet to be here, I want the dining to be here, I want it to have pool. You first create it mentally in your mind before dishing out or before starting the physical construction. The same goes to all our actions. Before we make any action, we should first have a mental picture of the end of that action in mind. This thing that I want to do now, if I do it, what will be the consequences at the end? Will it be good? Will it be bad? Before we make any decision. Now, if we have all these things in mind, knowing that, okay, if we do this thing, it is going to land me in trouble, I can assure you that we are not going to do that thing. That is why for everything we do, for every step we take, we should always learn to meditate deeply. We should not just make steps like, or take any step or do anything for doing sake. No. We should always think, now, okay, in the course of this action, what can happen at the end? What am I going to do? Begin with the end in mind. Because if you start negatively, surely you end negatively. If you start positively, you end positively. There's no two ways about that. You cannot pick up something like, okay, for example, I want to pick up a stick. And you know that the end of the stick or the beginning of the stick is bad. Do you expect the end to be good? No, it's not possible. Like, it's only somebody that is insane that will do a wrong thing multiple times and expect a different result. It's not possible. So if you want to achieve good thing at the end of the day, let's start with something good. If you want to achieve bad thing at the end of the day, then you start with something bad. You cannot start with something bad and expect something good at the end. In the same vein, you cannot start something good at the end and expect something bad at the end. No. That is just the law of nature. Begin with the end in mind. For everything we do, for every decision we make for our career, let us start with the end. Let us have a mental picture of how the end will be before we start. I believe this motivation is going to really stir us up and inspire us to always check and meditate and critically analyze all our decisions before making any action. Thank you all and God bless you. See you all tomorrow.